Hi, Christine. Thank you for being involved with Women Rock, our blog. Could you please tell me a bit more about how you first got started in technology?
Hi, Milo. Thanks for having us. um, I got started in energy because I was really enthusiastic about finding out actually where we have waste, where we have redundancy, and to realize how we can reduce the waste that we have. And I got stuck or I got dragged into the energy system as I realized that once you have the batteries that come out of an electric vehicle, they still have 80% of all the capacity left. And I wondered, if you take them out, actually, what happens with them if they still have 80% left? What do we do with it? And so I realized that we have huge gaps in the energy space, in the energy storage space. And that fascinated me. And then I found two people that were as fascinated as I was. And so we delved into this area.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. Great way to get into it. Okay. As CEO of a company, how would you describe your leadership style and what do you enjoy most about being co-founder and CEO?
So I thought about it upfront a lot. So I think my leadership style is being really trustful. So I trust in people. I trust in their motivation. So I think you can steer people best if you have them intrinsically motivated. So what I always try to do, I try to steer them via, the common goal, via achievements that we did, sharing like ups, but also sharing downs with them.
Yeah.
The downs, explaining it to them why it's been like this, or what would be like the potential outcomes of something, but also the ups. So make the people really feel engaged with the company, that they're not only like a little, model in it, but that they are really contributing to the goal. And I think that's what I did.
And then as a woman who's worked in technology and business, what would you say is the best and worst things you've encountered within these industries?
I think the best one is that there are not as many women in this industry. So my role was also, customer acquisition, partnership building. And I think the best thing is in the beginning, you are a little bit, like a black swan because people do not expect you to be this. So that's actually cool because then you catch a little bit of attention.
Right.
But in the end, the best one was people perceiving you just as a human,
Okay.
And I think this is cool because they can also relate to you. And that's people just, I have really long and trustful relationships, or I build up long and trustful relationships with the customers because I took them also as humans.
Yeah.
And I listened to them a lot. I think this was like really cool.
Yeah.
Negative, there are certain standards in the startup world. For example, how you do financial planning. And this is mostly not based on being realistic, but being very optimistic, which I would say is the male way.
Right.
So if you try to stick more to the realistic goals, people will still deduct the same number as they would deduct from like a rocket case.
Okay. Yeah.
And that kind of taught me being way over ambitious and selling way too much without saying, okay, this is realistic, but you kind of learn how to walk in this male-dominated world.
Right. Yeah.
And I wouldn't even say that's bad for me, but I think that's bad for the economy itself.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of false predictions. Okay.
Yeah.
That does make sense when you think of some of the economic situations across Europe. It's like a lot of false premises not getting delivered. Okay. Wow. Interesting. No, that's really unique. Actually, that's not just a typical in tech. It's hard to be a woman XXX. So okay. Yeah, I guess they're quite relevant, hopefully. So a lot of women we've spoken to have felt they've had to have sacrifices with family to pursue their career choices. So as a mother, have you ever come up against any barriers like this? And how did you overcome them?
There is no free lunch. Just time-wise, you just have 24 hours a day. And yes, it is tough. It is so tough. but mostly not due to the external factors. So I have a team. I usually took off the afternoon somewhere around 4 to 7 or 8, and then I started working in the evening again. And my team was totally fine with that.
Wow. Okay.
That was amazing, and that's not something that everybody would do.
Yeah.
I have a family, I have a husband and kids that really supported me and that said, okay, mommy, you have to be away now in Berlin, in Munich, in London, wherever.
Mm.
We're happy when you're here. So they supported me in that way. It was mostly, let's say, the inner little devil that sat on my shoulder and that made me, for example, miss my kids when I knew there would be like a choir singing where I couldn't attend, but I have to be at some customer event.
Yeah. That's tough.
And this is, I think for males, it's for dads, it's the same, but somehow it's not in society. It's not that normal that dads are always at choirs, right? But it's somehow normal that women are there. So you kind of see everybody around you in the neighborhood, whatever, and you just realize they are there, but you're not. So it's more, I think, like an inner barrier that you have. How did I overcome it? I wouldn't say I overcame it, or I have like the 100% solution, but I think it gets better if first you surround yourself with other people that are in your situation, and then resilience. It's so much about resilience. If you find a way to be in a more stable position yourself, the environment, let it be work or at home, they will appreciate that.
Just to add on, like, I completely agree. As a father, if I miss stuff for work, it's almost like, that's almost honourable that I'm missing stuff for work. What a sacrifice. Whereas if my partner was to miss something, it would be like, oh, how selfish. It's just crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, crazy. It's so mad how it's programmed into us. So yeah, no, really, really good. Thank you, Christine. Next is, how do you ensure interview processes are inclusive, and what advice would you give to other hiring managers to make their interview processes inclusive?
We're a team of 3 people. So it's me, it's my co-founder who has a migration background. So that's the right word. And then we have like a third co-founder who's also a female, and she comes from a really different background that I do. So I think the best way of overcrossing the bias is you have a really diverse team that hires the people themselves. So all of us 3 founders, we have really different personalities, I would say. And when we talk to people, we would get back together again and ask, hey, okay, how did you perceive him or her? And it was interesting because all of us, maybe focused on something else. And then it was interesting because you could actually see already in the recruiting team or in the hiring team that everybody would put a different focus. And I think this is like the best way of overcoming a bias.
Right.
Of course, we are humans, so we do have biases. So I think it's I'm not for, I don't know, anybody saying I'm anonymous, I'm like no gender at all, no heritage at all, because in the end you've got to work with that person, right? And there have to be a chemistry that way you really click. But we always try to look beyond the outer shell and really look, okay, is that person motivated? Does the person have like the skills? Does the person see the same goal for our company as we do?
There shouldn't be any bias in that or negative connotations. You're right, it still has to be an interview where you select the best candidate, but without any diversity coming into play at all, really, if not positively, because that more diverse equals more idea generation. No, I think that's a great answer. Thank you. If you could go back to 16-year-old Christina, what advice would you give her?
Be more brave.
Be more brave. Okay.
Don't stay on, the beaten tracks, but talk to as many people as you can about how they did it or what they see in the future. And don't let yourself hold back because you're only 16, because you don't have any experience in whatever, but just, try to be around inspiring people and get inspired by them.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I agree. Your circles are so important, aren't they?
Yeah,
And
yeah, it is. It so is.
yeah, and that's obviously at 16, like, who are we to know, what good is? But yeah, if you have a good mentor by luck or by judgment, that can really just shape those years and set you off on a yeah, hopefully a positive, trajectory. Okay, thank you.
And I mean, I know so many people that are 16, that said, well, like, I don't even know, what I want to do in life. And
No,
at
no.
my point of time, like when I was 16, this was being perceived as a negative thing, but actually it's a pretty positive thing, right? You're 16,
Yeah, yeah.
you don't know what you want to do in life. That's okay.
No,
And
don't know who you are.
most people should be more curious and should ask that question again and again when they're
Yeah,
30, when they're 50, when they're 60, because
yeah.
it's something that, it's never answered with one word, right?
No, I think it's, yeah, I think it's, I don't know. It's probably global. It feels like a UK cultural problem where we're very much like, just follow the status quo. Your parents went to uni, go there, and something will land on your lap. And there's not much. It's getting better with like freelancing and like creatives, digital economies. But yeah, I do think there's a lot of people that just kind of go through the motions of what's expected, and they're probably not 100% true to what they're passionate about. Yeah, so really, really good. Thank you. You're interviewing at the moment a few places. So like, what do you think the biggest thing tech companies can do to attract more female talent in engineering and technology? If you were looking, what would attract you to a business?
Yeah. So, to all the HR people out there, it's cool if you write, hey, whatever gender you feel that you belong to, you can apply to that. But if the job offer itself is posted with really male words or male phrases, no woman at all will apply there.
Mm.
I've read job offers that are, first, I'm thinking who writes this, and secondly, I'm thinking who actually applies there. Just by the way they phrase it, it's actually the same job as in another company, but in the other company, it's more, of course, you got to talk about the skills that you need, yes, but it's also the way how you phrase it. And I think the more authentic and the more people-oriented you are, also the more females will apply to that job.
Okay.
And the second one, but it's a bit, like a problem itself, is like chicken or egg. Have more females in your company, then also more other females will.
Yeah.
But this is, yeah.
No, that's massive. I think it is a snowball effect, and we do tell founders that early stages. Like, if you can try and get a co-founder, which is tough, there is less to pick from, and obviously cohorts are great at bringing people together without bias. But yeah, if you can get females in early before it becomes a boys' club with your first 10 hires all being male, and then it becomes really hard to crack and get that first female like feeling comfortable, feeling welcome. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. That kind of momentum effect of hiring diversely, and having it there visible, which again, we're doing our small part, but yeah, if companies can just do it with their workforce, that is the solution.
So giving you one example, I read like a sales development or business development role.
Yeah.
And they put in there like, do you have a hunter personality? Are you always going the extra mile?
Yeah.
Is closing the thing for you? Then apply here. And I was like, of course not. This is like, I would never apply there, even though I think I'm really good in business development. And I think I have a hunter personality, but this kind of speech is just so,
Yeah, that's like boiler room American sales, isn't it? It's there's a better way of doing it, like empathy, relationships.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, that's our angle.
And maybe one more thing to that question: have good HR people.
Right.
So maybe one job won't, somehow won't fit. But if you have other jobs in mind, or saying, I don't have like the job description yet, but we see that we have a gap in this direction. Don't you want to talk to this person?
Yeah.
This helps. I have a friend, and she's in procurement, and for example, she told me she got invited by the CEO of a company to have a get to know talk. And she told me, just by phrasing this get to know talk and not job interview, she felt so much more welcome. She was like, okay, you know, so we get to know each other, so it's like on the same line, right? It's not this hierarchy. In the end, she got offered a job, and I think this is like the best way for, I mean, not everybody can talk to the CEO, of course, but make it more like it's a two-sided relationship, right?
Yeah, more informal. Okay. Who is someone in your life that inspires you, that could be a personal connection or just a well-known famous person?
So actually, I'm inspired by, I have a pretty diverse circle of friends. So I think that is cool, or that is really inspiring me. But to be honest, the person that inspires me most, and he doesn't even know, is my in-law, my father-in-law.
Oh, wow.
He was a doctor all his life, and then he started to like pension, and then he grew all those social businesses. And he was also things that he was never like familiar with, but he just started because he was like, oh, I think, you know, I can do something there. And he's now 75, and he's still, you know, lifelong learning. That's what he does. But he also has the right connections, the right attitude, and the motivation to get things done. And this not staying in your industry because you trained this, but also saying, okay, how can I, you know, apply my skills to something new? I think that's so impressive.
Wow. Yeah.
Maybe I should tell him.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to tell me. I can imagine that's quite an interesting conversation to have, quite a deep thing, but maybe he'll see the blog when we post it, if we can get it right, and obviously you can sense check the wording, but sometimes it's an easier conversation to have in a sideways manner, isn't it? Like he'll see it third party. But no, that's a really unique one, again, that I don't think I've heard before on these interviews, a father-in-law relationship. But yeah, just cements what you said earlier about, like, you don't have to pick something and just, oh, that's me, that, you know, that defines me forever. So if that's someone that's helped you see that in action, then that's a great example. No, that's awesome. Thank you, Christine. I think there's really good content in there
Thanks, Milo.
It's been so good. Thank you for sharing everything. I think this is going to be a really good addition.